Okay, so this is what we're going to be making, the adhesive tape station. However, I'm going to make it a bit different so that I'll widen or make this one, wider so that I can put a couple of dowels in there and slot on some tape rolls, some washi tape, so that you've got this one to just throw it all in, and this one on some dowels as well. So this one's on a dowel. If you have one of these, you really don't need a tape dispenser, although having said that, you can fit more on this one than this one. So anyway, our chipboard pieces that we're going to need, now just mix that up. All right, just for the 3 boxes, and yes, we're going to make these individual boxes. So for this larger area here, we're going to need 3 pieces of medium weight chipboard. It's all medium weight chipboard at 3 inches by 4 inches, so 3 at 4 by 3, 2 at 3 inches by 3 inches, and need 4 of these. This is the piece that the dowel sits on, or slots into. Okay, so we double those up, so we'll need 4 at 1.5 by 2 3/4 inches. Okay, so that was that one. You're also going to need a piece of dowel. The dowel piece that I used was about 3/8 of an inch in diameter. Okay, so the 2 smaller boxes, each of them you will need 2 at 2 inches by 3 inches, 1 at 2 inches by 4 inches, and 2 at 3 inches by 4 inches. So you'll need that for for each of the 2. So 2 at 3 by 4, 1 at 2 by 4, and 2 at 2 by 3. Okay, so all I'm doing, now you could do, what I'm doing is just inking the top edges here of each piece, because you're not going to see any of the other, because it's going to be covered by paper completely, most of it, so it's only the top edges. So I'm just going to go around with the black paint and do that to those. You could also use black chipboard, would eliminate this step, which is always good when you can eliminate a process. Okay, for the first box, we've got our sides, and all I've done is ink the top and a bit of the sides there. Those for the sides there, and back and front. Okay, this one was the base, you didn't need to do that. Silly girl. Anyway, you also need, for this area here, and where did they go? All right, 3 more pieces that we're going to glue together, and that's what's underneath that piece of craft resist mat, heat resist mat. What I'm going to try and use is a strip of metal, because obviously the tape's not going to stick to the mat because it's non-stick, isn't it? And it's heat resistant. So that's all I had at that time, and I threw out the Glad Wrap container that had the, because I'm sure it has another metal strip on it, as well as that serrated edge there that we're going to use to for the tape to tear off. So that's those 3. They're going to sit on, be glued onto that this here, okay, and join onto the sides of that box. So I'm not gonna I don't think I should ink that, because the strip should cover it all. I've got the back one inked, or the back of the front piece there inked anyway, so we'll work that out when it comes to it. Now these 4 pieces, I know I've only got 2, I've got to cut 2 more, but these pieces that the dowel slips into, I'm going to paint them after I've cut the holes in it. So We shall do that next. So here's my piece of dowel, and I'm going to cut my 4-inch piece. Just using my craft knife. Alright, so make sure you got a good sharp blade in there. And I mean, if you've got a saw, a hand saw or something else that you could use to do this, it'll make it, it'll go a lot quicker. Okay. Much better. Okay. It's just, there we go. Not too bad. Pretty darn smooth. Okay. That done. Let's cover. Oh, okay. Maybe we should do this. So all I'm going to do is come down about 1/4 inch roughly, and maybe I should do it, I'm going to bring it more over to one side than the other. So I'm going to come over at about 1/2 inch over and 1/4 inch down. Just going to trace around that, and that's where we're going to cut. And all I'm going to do to cut it is actually go around, cut around that circle first, so scoring the chipboard there. And then I'm going to just score it from side to side, crisscrossing it. And then hopefully the layers will start to peel off. So see how that's now peeled off a few layers in there. So then we can continue digging with our craft knife until we need to start scoring again. So go around the circle again. And then start crisscrossing it, and there we go, we've actually gone through all the layers of that chipboard there. Now, before I do the this one, I think what I'm going to do is probably join it together with Aleene's tacky glue. Put that aside to dry before I continue on. That way we've got the hole exactly where we need it to be. Okay. I'm just gonna put that on there, move it about, get that glue working its magic, and clamp it and put it aside to dry. So what I'm going to do now is cut out that remaining circle shape on the bottom piece of chipboard. So again, I went round the edge of that circle. Now I'm going to score from edge to edge. Try and clean that up. Alright, so that's it there. And your dowel will sit in there nicely. Okay, you're going to have layers there, and that's going to sit up against the side as well. Okay, so now we need to do the other one. Alright, so what we've got is this one with the hole there, and this one's got to sit like that, but with this one we need to cut a slot that allows the dowel to be pushed in, slid in there. Okay, so we sit it in there and then it slides across into that one. So what we've got to do is get our ruler and just run a line down the oops, I almost pressed too hard with these. Down, oh my goodness, down, following that line down there. Okay, so that the dowel can slip in. So then we're going to cut that section out. So then just get your craft knife and ruler and just cut it through like that. Okay, and then we do the same to the other side. I would also just go inside the line. We can always chop more off if we need it. Okay, so then that should just pop out like that. And then our dowel needs to sit in there. Now it's not doing it, so I need to carve off a bit more. So I've come in at an angle there, so I'm just going to freehand it and just slice off a bit more. And that slots in there with a bit of resistance, which is good because you don't want it to slip out, so it sort of sits in there snugly if you can listen to it. There we go. Sort of slots in there, so nice and snug. So now this is the time I can go ahead and paint this piece if you wanted to. So that's what I'm going to do now. Oh, we don't need it on the back. You're not going to see it as long as the top areas, the front facing part is covered. We're fine. Okay, so I want to make sure that the inside is the same colour of those circles. So now it's important that when you paint this that your sides match. Now this one's got to go this way like that so that the dowel can slot in that way. Okay, so then the hole on the other side's got to match that one. Okay.